SFC fans react back with another video. I hope you're all well. Michael Bowers. It's the first time we've done a video for a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
2 or 3 weeks, but there's been loads of things happening. Obviously, in a week today, Michael, a week today.
At the time of recording,
a week
today we will be in that.
We'll be in that stadium, kicking off our first Premier League game in over 8 years. Michael Bowers.
That's quite scary. You know something that was actually, before we start talking about the topics around Sunderland, one of the things that actually really got me in, thinking about deja vu or thinking flashbacks was when I saw that Rochdale were like in the National League playing Boreham. Was it Norham Borwood?
Norham Borwood,
yeah. And I'm thinking, Jesus, we played them like in League One like 6 years ago.
Unbelievable.
And then now all of a sudden it's like we're probably however many points, how many divisions above them. But yeah, it's just suddenly hit me with how. You think all summer, oh yeah, the Prem's coming, and then now it's like a week away. You go, well, League 1 and 2 have started, and the Championship's starting again, then you're just thinking, oh my God, and then hopefully we're not depressed in a couple of weeks' time, but but yeah, I mean, I'm quite excited. I think I'm always keen for a break when the season finishes, but I think now that we're this close to the season, you go, yeah, I want the football back.
I don't want to back now. I'm just a little bit nervous because I think, although we've signed all these players, which we'll come to, we'll cover them all. It's the case of the Premier League.
It's a question of whether there'll be enough to.
That's what I'm saying. If they're good enough, Michael, that's the issue. But anyway, first of all, Michael, the first topic we want to start with is the new Sunderland home strip. The new Sunderland home strip. I did purchase it about a week ago. I got mine in the Bennett. And I do think it's a lovely top. It was the home. This is the home one we're talking about. So obviously Josh, our editor, will probably put it on the screen and show you. Although you've already probably seen it anyway, I think the home strip's fantastic. I like the badge in the centre as well. That's one of the things originally that put me off it, because I'm not very keen on the badges within the centre. Like they say, the shirt. I mean, obviously this is a very old shirt at this point, but I like it where the badge is on this shirt, where it's like on the. On the sort of the corner where one end of your chest would be, I suppose other body parts in the case of women, to be fair. Around about that sort of area of the shirt is where I like the badge. But it's one of those when you remember our Weatherspoons kit last season, like the third kit, the one that does look like Josh done the thing on the. Did you watch the video back? Josh put the. And the Weatherspoons, no, you said Weatherspoons. He actually put the plate on the
Weatherspoons plate. Well, because it genuinely does look like a Weatherspoons plate. But having said that, originally I thought it looked minging when I looked at the picture, and then I saw it in person. It
thought it was all right.
Yeah. Whereas I think the same. I didn't think the home shirt was bad by any means when I saw a picture, but when I've seen it in person, I'm like, okay, that does look very good. I don't think it's quite as good as last season's home shirt, but I think last season.
That was last season.
I was going to say last season's it would have took quite some impressive feat to beat that. So, but at the end of the day, fans obviously, if you get the commercial, we've said all along, if you get the commercial side right, fans will lap it up because they've got a big enough fan base to pay for the money, and it just makes it more frustrating in some ways that we were so rubbish off the pitch for so many years in terms of the commercial side of things. But it doesn't matter. We'll get it sorted now. Hummel's back. That's obviously a really important thing. So but I think it's the home shirts. Both shirts have proved to be quite popular, to be fair, haven't they?
And I'm just changing the subject here. Michael wants us to sit here because he's got his telly there.
I want to see soccer Saturday.
Sports News on. I go down the pathway down there, didn't I? And Mike says, "Any chance we can sit here?" I said, "Why is that, Michael?" Because the telly's right there.
Well, yeah, just because I want to see what's going on in the Championship. So because at the time of recording, I think I watched Birmingham Ipswich last night, and then I watched Southampton Wrexham and a bits of Coventry Hull. So it's going to be a mental league for anyone to try and get promoted from this year. So I'm quite glad we're not in it, but hopefully we're not in it in a year's time.
Did you see somewhere about the home strip as well that I got voted the second best strip in all the divisions? Have I read that correctly or not? And the new home one.
I don't. What, the one this season?
Aye.
I'm not sure.
Or was that the one? Am I getting confused?
It might have been last season's that one. I'm not sure. Look, I mean, maybe if someone's in the sorry, I don't keep looking that way. But if anyone does know in the comments, then let us know that if there is a sort of a poll or a competition that Sunderland's home shirts won, like what was it, the second most popular?
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully, well, put it this way, hopefully, I'm usually of the believer that it matters what the players do in the kit. That's important. But last season's home kit was synonymous with getting promoted, so hopefully this season's home kit is synonymous with us re-establishing ourselves in the Premier League.
Yeah, I do really like it. I think I agree with you though, Mike, in regards to the last season's home and this season's. I do like the last season slightly better. But then is that a case of maybe the new one might grow on you as time goes on?
Yeah, I mean, it might do. I guess only time will be the answer to that question. But yeah, there's no reason why it can't. So. But again, I think but in person, it did impress me looking at it. The only thing I probably would have liked, the little black bit around the badge. I would have probably preferred that was white.
Oh, I remember. I think I remember you saying that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the things that maybe. But I'm just quite. Usually, I'm quite easily pleased with shirts and kits and everything. But yeah, but no, look, don't get us wrong. In general, it does look really good.
Yeah.
It takes some while to beat last year's, but that's more because last year's was excellent rather than this year's isn't as good.
Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. And remember, obviously, all the topics we talked about. You can leave your comments. Comment as much as you can, please. Interaction's great. Me and Michael will always try to reply to you all. And don't forget to subscribe to Michael's channel, of course, as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Obviously on over 6,000 subscribers now. A great YouTuber. He's definitely it's one of my favourite ones, like Guiu, Jazzy and Steve. We've got loads of them now, though.
We're quite lucky, we're quite lucky, really, that we have such a great variety of YouTubers. You've got this channel, Fan TV, Black Cats TV. You've got, or was it Jazzy and Steve? You mentioned Jamsani,
Jamsani, Jamsani has been gone years, and as I said before, you and him was the ones who got us thinking about doing.
Oh, ending. Sorry, quickly before I mention that's another underrated one. Really, and it's good to see he's starting to get more recognition, but. Yeah, I mean, Jamsani. I mean, you're talking about the OG. You're talking about the OG.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I used to watch him. He used to do the football side of it as well. He used to do a lot of that.
Well, yeah, all ending does the game tactical side of things and how teams set up, and it's really interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, Jamsani. You just think back to even probably see when we got into League One first time. There probably was. At best, maybe 3 or 4 different YouTubers. Now you've got about probably 8 or 9.
We've got loads now.
Exactly. One of the best bits of YouTube is still going to be Jamsani's Simon Grayson impression, which is waiting for it. Michael. Thimble Farmer Grayson. That's the one good thing about Simon Grayson being appointed. It led to Jamsani do an impression of him. That's it. But let's not talk about that. I'm sure he'll wish him luck at Hartlepool, I suppose. But I suppose we want to try and get into a few more topics, don't we? Which is
anyway,
a couple of players signed since then.
Since our last video, we covered. I think the Salmon and Adingra was the last one at that point.
Yeah.
But this time obviously was the first signing, which was a really big signing, Michael. Is the signing of ex-Arsenal midfielder Granit Xhaka. This was rumoured for a while. Obviously, reliable journalists, Fabrizio Romano, Romano, and
I was going to say Romano.
Romano, and there was
like Sergio Romano's and you journalists now.
What's it? Ornstein.
David Ornstein.
David Ornstein is another one. When them two, you sort of listen to what they
say it. It's kind of it's pretty much happening, don't you?
And when he says "Here we go," the famous words, but it was linked for a while, and then. I think it went a bit quiet, didn't it? Went a bit quiet for a while as well, and you think, it's not going to happen now. And all of a sudden, it went no. Well, what do you think that was, Michael? Do you think it was just a fee? Trying to agree the fee with them by Leverkusen? Do you think that's what it was?
Probably. I mean, to be fair, well, originally the timeline of events was pretty much that David Ornstein had put about a week before we signed Xhaka that Xhaka informed Leverkusen he only wanted to join Sunderland, which, by the way, very quickly on that, as someone who's criticised KLD quite a lot, apparently KLD was a big player in this transfer, so. That's the case. Well done, and I mean that genuinely.
Can I stop you quickly there? I think there was something to do with a business sort of thing after his 3-year deal. Was it something to do with KLD? Was he was going to get him to join
integrate him in the coaching staff?
A business adventure somewhere outside of football. I don't know.
Well done, KLD then.
Yeah. But if he's used that as a to get him in, then
I'll tell you what. Whether it's KLD, whether it's Gazolfi, whether it's Speakman, whether it's Harvey, whoever's managed to do this, fair play to you because. But this is where I've said because we've both been big critics of Kay Louis-Dreyfus in the past, and to some degree I believe justifiably still. But now you look at it and you just go, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. No arguments. And you know what, KLD, you've shut us up, and I want you to continue to do that.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's exactly what we want to be seeing. But as far as Jack is concerned, the original thing was so the timeline was that David Ornstein from the Athletic said that Xhaka only wanted to join Sunderland. So once it got to that point. Although I think he said he would be professional while he's at Leverkusen, which is fair. That's the attitude you want. That's the attitude. Not to mention them lot up the road too much. But you look at what's happening with Isaac at the moment, and like really, he could do with learning something from Xhaka's book, really, about the way you go about things. But either way. When it comes to Xhaka, once he said he kind of wanted to come here, then the ball's kind of in our court to some degree. Obviously, I think what kind of took a while was haggling over the fee that Leverkusen wants, and
the add-ons and the initial fee. But I think his personal terms he'd already agreed with. That was signed.
That was verbally done, apparently. Yeah. What was it? 3-year contract? Got him on?
3-year deal.
So you know, to be fair, but we've got to also say that the club has definitely adapted its strategy. I don't want to use the M word for that because the amount of times I'm still probably going to say it 20 times, but. Fine, screw it, the model. There you go. But like, this is different to what we've normally done because I mean, if you'd said to me at the end of coming out of Wembley against Sheffield United in the playoff final, if you'd said to me then, you'll spend nearly 18 million quid on a 32-year-old Granit Xhaka. You say, first of all, Granit Xhaka probably won't come here. Secondly, why are we spending 18 million pounds on a 32-year-old? And thirdly, even then his wages surely must be quite a lot. And don't get me wrong, I think he probably will be the highest earner among the squad, but the fact that you persuaded someone of his calibre to come here suggests it. And remember, what that might do is it might make other players, say like John Lucimi, for example, from Bologna. I don't know whether that, by the time this goes out, I don't know whether anything happens with that or not. But he might look at Xhaka going there and going, do you know what? I'm in the mood for that.
I'm fancying some of that.
Fancying playing for a huge...
It puts us in the window as well. It's like, puts us out there, doesn't it? Signs some of his calibre, some of his quality, it puts us out there. Like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if you were at the Betis friendly at the time of speaking a week ago, but obviously I was at the home game friendly against Real Betis, and the reception that Granit Xhaka got around the ground was just
unreal,
was really, really good. And actually, to be fair, he did kind of get that a little bit at the end with Arsenal, but it did feel like I think here he's going to be more of one of the main men and will be appreciated. I would imagine will probably be appreciated more than what he would have been during his worst period at Arsenal, safe to say. But no, with Xhaka, I'm really impressed. And another thing we've got to remember, and even I've said this, as we've said, I've constantly said that I was sick of people using experience as an excuse for when players don't perform because you can't keep hiding behind that. But having said that, I did say in the Premier League, you need top flight or Premier League experience ideally, and Xhaka delivers that in an abundance. Even since leaving Arsenal, he helped Bayer Leverkusen. Was it an undefeated domestic season
with Xavi Alonso?
Which, by the way, displacing Bayern Munich, which is an incredible effort to do that. And he was playing. It wasn't like he was bit part here, everywhere. He was playing. He was playing absolutely every game. And last season he was still. I think I listened to the Walker Report pod, which is great, by the way. Check it out. But the lad that were talking there that likes to support Sunderland fan, but likes to follow Bayer Leverkusen in Germany, said basically that he only missed something like 6 games of the last 2 seasons. Now, hopefully, we're not putting the Sunderland curse on that because we know we know what we're like with injuries. But yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed by the signing of Xhaka. Originally, I said I didn't think it was our biggest signing, but it was probably the most important. But I'm starting to reconsider that now. I think it probably, in some ways, is our biggest signing, but it's definitely the most important for the experience of your Sadiqis and your Diarras and your Lafayes and Chris Riggs and the like. So, and it's not just experience for the sake of having experience. It's experience that can also contribute now. And even just looking, but the Brits I've seen of Xhaka against Betis. And by the way, lads, sorry guys, as of right now, speaking, Sunderland are playing Augsburg in a friendly in Germany.
1-0 at the moment, isn't it? 1-0.
Well, I'll double check that. But obviously, by the time this goes out, you'll already know what the final result is. But obviously, for the purposes of being transparent, we don't know what's going on. So, Granit Xhaka, actually, for you speaking of Granit Xhaka, he's just rattled the crossbar with a rocket of a free kick. So still 1-0 at the minute. I mean, look, don't get us wrong. I'm not too fussed about the results of pre-season, but I think Xhaka. One thing, and you'll notice this, I think, when Xhaka does play, it's not just the fact that how much of an engine he is in the midfield. Some of his forward balls last week against Betis were absolutely quality. It's just a shame nobody made something on the end of them. But no, I think Xhaka's going to. I think Xhaka is fair to say that Xhaka's probably the most ambitious signing from a promoted club going up the Prem in recent years. Certainly.
Yeah, I've read that a few times as well. That's. That's been said that it's probably it is the biggest out of all the promoted sides getting to the Premier League. That this signing was a big statement, if you want to put it that way. But so obviously the fee, Michael, you were like absolutely on. I think it was 15 rising to 18 or something altogether.
Something like that.
but you're like, it's money well spent because he's going to bring you that experience and the quality what you'll need. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think so because, look, don't get me wrong, I understand that the way that we go about things, obviously you do have to think of a resale value to some degree. That's why likes of Sadiki and Diarra and Lefay and Talby and everyone else, like all of those sort of players will have been signed with that in mind in case we do get relegated, because then with PSR you need to be able to have enough assets to be able to sort of balance the books with PSR. But not every single signing we purchase or player we buy, I should say, has to have that sort of criteria around them. So, for example, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm expecting Xhaka to be the exception rather than the rule. Obviously, fair enough, I don't want us to do it so often, like spending players, because we know we're not going to make a profit on Xhaka, but I don't think that's really relevant for this case. I think in this way, and we've got to remember, if this, look, I appreciate it's a massive ask at the minute, but if this signing, if Xhaka helps us stay up, for example, then, and particularly, well, one, it pays for itself because of the extra Prem money you get. Two, if Diarra or Sadiki, for example, develop under Xhaka's influence and experience, then the money extra money you're getting from those players pay for what you're paying for Xhaka.
Very good point,
you know, but I just think if you've got a chance to sign Granit Xhaka, you don't turn it down, do you?
And did you know that Ten Hag as well said that losing
that
Xhaka,
bold idiot.
losing Xhaka would have been a bigger loss than there's a Frimpong and the right back, and the other one who went to Liverpool. I keep forgetting his name.
Wirtz.
Florian Wirtz. He said, this is what Ten Hag says, he'd feel that loss, and that's a big statement as well, he'd feel the loss of Xhaka more than them two. That says something as well, Michael.
Well, he also said Xhaka wasn't going anywhere, and that proved to be wrong, didn't it? So, you know, so just goes to prove, Eric, maybe you want to shut your gob. But yeah, look, it's, I know what you mean. In terms of the experience, I mean, don't get me wrong, for Leverkusen it is a huge blow. I know there's obviously probably going to be a lot of like Leverkusen fans going, why has he gone to Sunderland? But at the end of the day, I think people need to start putting a bit more respect on our name as a club. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we're bigger than the likes of your Arsenals or your Man U's or your Liverpool, because they're elite level.
Who, Michael? You got bigger tiki. What you got?
Very funny. Yeah, I know you really wanted to put that. I sent Sean a funny video around a certain club that's struggling to attract players at the moment. Levels that they want anyway. But yeah. But the point I was making was,
No,
you're not. But to be fair, though, look, we know we're not a big six sort of club. We know we're not a Man U, Arsenal, or Liverpool, because they're just elite level and they always will be. They're much bigger compared to them. We look like Accrington compared to them. But obviously, we know that. I still believe we are probably among the top 10 biggest clubs in England.
Absolutely.
You know, probably the bottom of that 10, but I do think we are in that list.
Yeah.
So even if this says a lot as a promoted club that we're willing to sign Granit Xhaka, I'm hoping that means we've got aspirations of giving it a really good go of staying up, and I've said before that I could see us doing really well in the Premier League in the next 4 or 5 years if we stay up the first season.
The first season, the hardest one, isn't it?
In fact, I'll tell you what, people can hold me to this, right? The caveat is Gazolfi, Speakman, Harvey, KLD all have to be here across this 5 years for this to happen.
Yeah.
But if we stay up this first season and them all stay and don't go anywhere, I'm convinced within the next 5 years we'll qualify for Europe.
No, well,
within the next 5, as long as none of them leave.
I think we need to be careful, Michael, because I mean, although we've spent 40 million, right, which is obviously the signs which will come to in a bit. We need to be very careful, because I still think
this year is still staying up. That's why I said in 4 or 5 years' time. Right now, for this season, I've seen people say, "Oh, Sunderland will get top half, or Sunderland will be nowhere near problem." No. Give me 17th right now, and I will still be
snap your hand off.
I will still be happy with that. Even if you gave us 17th, but we were like 12th all season and had a slump at the end and finished 17th. Don't care. This season is about survival, because the last 6 teams that have gone up to the Prem have come straight back down. Now, I do believe, for example, Sunderland should have a bigger ceiling than pretty much every club that's gone up within recent years. I'm talking like, well, Burnley obviously went up twice in the last few years, but Burnley, you know, your Lutons, your Sheffield United, your Leicester, Ipswich, Southampton, Leeds. I think we should have a bigger ceiling than all of them.
No, absolutely.
But it doesn't change the fact this season will still be a battle. It will still be very tricky. It will be there's going to be ugly, a lot of it.
There's going to be some,
you know, but at the end of the day, we've earned the right to be here. So let's, I mean, this is where Sunderland belong anyway, but you've got to earn the right the same way every other club does. You know, so you've got to earn the right to be here. We've earned the right to be here. Now let's try and make sure we earn the right to stay here. But it is going to be, you're right. So for this season, yes, absolutely. This season, it's about staying up. Fair enough. And if we do that, then I could see us progressing further after that. But let's hopefully stay up first.
Right, on to the next topic was, I think the signing was pretty much, was it just after Xhaka, I think it was, Michael?
Couple of days afterwards, I think, wasn't it?
It got leaked though, didn't it, the picture of him and the
Yeah.
so he do from then, it was, he's
From there we knew, yeah.
Unless
Unless it was a hell of a Photoshop, then, you know.
But anyway, this is the one I was sort of like, I've been seeing we need a keeper. No disrespect to Patterson, and Patterson's 2 saves.
But it's disrespect to Patterson.
Patterson was brilliant in the final. I mean, he's 2 saves. You could say, theoretically speaking, he's saving the first minute off Kiefer Moore with the header was
incredible.
And then the second one when it was 1-0, if that goes in
Andre
with the foot, we went the other way in it.
He ended up being a big reason why we did win the game. But at the same time, I do agree with you that I think with Patterson, I've said this before, you guarantee me he plays like he did at Wembley every week, I'd have no problem with him being number 1 in the Prem. My problem is that for every Wembley performance, remember like Hull at home last season, remember there's been like, I think it was Plymouth at home maybe, when he hesitated to come for a ball, and then Plymouth ended up equalising. So now don't get me wrong, it's not fair to expect Pato to never ever make mistakes ever, but I think for me, in the Prem, these things get punished. In the Championship, you can get away with it more times than not.
Every now and again,
more times than not, and every now and again you can get away with it. But in the Prem, no. But I think Patterson will be a fine number 2 if he's willing to do that and fight. But Robin Roefs, I mean, obviously, look, we were linked with Marcin Bulka and Dietro. I said his first name wrong. Petrovic from, we're linked with them. But I mean, Bulka. Well, if you believe it, Bulka apparently was going to come here until Neom didn't just bugger off, basically. But with Roefs, to be fair, I mean, this is one where I think because Roefs is signed, Patterson's still going to have a fighting chance to be number 1, and that's a good thing because that can spark the competition between them to keep their own standards high. But if you're just looking at Robin Roefs, bear in mind I've only seen 1 game of him, so it's very difficult for me to judge properly. And I'm not going to try and claim him. I don't like people writing players off too quickly, so I can't on the same vein build players up to be better than they are, or really class in the first couple of games. So, but from what I did see against Betis, I thought Roefs looked pretty decent. I thought that his distribution nearly every single time found the target he was going for. He obviously, I mean, he's a very short lad. He's only 6'7", you know. But no, I think he's like 6'4" possibly. I know he's over 6 foot, but when you watch him, you go, Jesus, he's a giant. So you know that's going to be handy when it comes to claiming for crosses, because believe me, we're going to need everything we can get in the Prem. But yeah, I think you are right. I think we did need a keeper, didn't we? I think.
And obviously, is Robin Roefs was signing for? I think it was 10 million rising to 12, 13 with add-ons or something like that. It was something like just under 10 million. It was rising to 11.5 with add-ons. Right. But the key thing we've said, and I think we mentioned this when the last video we did when Adingra had just been signed. The big thing I've kept on saying is the likes of Adingra, Talby, Satiki, Diarra, Roefs, everyone like that. All 5-year contracts. So again, not only is it good for PSR to spread that cost over a number of seasons, but if we go down, they've all still got 4 years left, and we can make a huge amount of money from them if they do well, and we still get relegated. So, but with Robin Roefs, we did need, with all due respect to Patterson, we did need a new keeper, but he probably needed some decent competition as well, though, because if you're looking at, say, someone like Simon Moore, who I think has been okay when I've watched him, but is he really going to be serious competition in the Premier League? Nah. At best, he's a number 2 in the Championship. But in the Prem, the best you'll be is number 3.
Michael, I must admit, I seen a video of him when we were first linked. In fact, it was when the journalists started to release things on Twitter. I'd seen that. I seen a video of him. I think it was over 5 minutes on Robin Roefs, and I was very impressed with his shots. He saved and things like that. He looked really, really good. And did you see that video? I don't know if I sent you or not.
I can't remember if you did or not, but I know from what I did hear, apparently there was at least 1 or 2 saves in there that were like almost freakishly good. As in, how on earth he got the right to save that? So. That's quite encouraging if that is the case, but no, because that was another one. David Ornstein was the one who broke that.
That was it.
You know, he was the one who ended up breaking that story, and it was quite funny, really, because a lot of our transfers have almost come out of nothing. Xhaka's probably the exception where that's kind of rumbled on.
Went on for a while.
Exactly. That is almost where that's rumbled on a bit, and I find it incredible, really, that the club are really good at keeping things close to their chest, and I suppose and once things are leaked, they're like 90% done. So, but yeah, I mean, look, from what I've seen of Roefs, loads of time, early doors, very early doors. We need to see how he deals with the Premier League. But with Roefs, from what I've seen, quite encouraged so far.
Quite a solid sign. Optimistic, like obviously pull the saves off.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm not going to say he's good yet because it's way too early.
Yeah.
But so far, it's encouraging.
And I hope this is not a go at the Sunderland fans, but with certain players, you've got to give them at least 10 games. Would you say, Michael, in the Premier League, or maybe he's a little bit,
Yeah, I think with some of them, you've got to bear in mind that some of them have. I mean, it's a difficult one really because I think you do have to let them bed in. You can't just write them off as crap straight away if they don't set the world alight. But the other thing for me is I still look at our first few games and I'm thinking this is where these are games we're going to need to deliver and get points in if we are going to want to stay up this season.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act of learning not to write players off, but also at some point. I can't just keep. I can't just keep saying, "Oh, they'll come good." At some point, they have to show something, obviously. But I just think. A lot of them are still going to be adapting to English football and a new way of life. I mean, obviously, Adingra and Xhaka should be fine because they've obviously both played in the Prem multiple seasons now before this, so they should be all right with it. But no, either way, like I said, I think with some of them we just got to give them a bit of time. But with Roefs so far, looks all right.
Right, next signing, Michael. This is the one. I hope I can get his name right.
Do you want me to say it first?
Yeah, you can do it. It's 20. Is it 19 or 20-year-old from Chelsea? Won the Club World Cup.
Mark Guiu.
There you go.
Now, for once, I am usually terrible at pronouncing names, so I'm quite proud of myself to get that one right.
I think Jazzy actually done it in his video, and I think someone said that he was the only one who got it right of all the content creators.
Fair play for you, Jazzy, mate.
But well done to Jazzy.
Yeah, well. Mark, I mean, it's season-long loan, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the things that's interesting about, and I don't usually like loans because obviously if they do really well, like Amad Diallo, for example, he does well, you're back to square one, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I'm quite encouraged by the fact that Chelsea don't want to put a buy option in there because that says to me they see something in him for like a longer-term prospect. So I'm hoping, again, it's a question whether
Mason Burstow.
Do you see the video I sent you about the Mason Burstow? Yeah. I don't think we can play the music for copyright, but let's just say it's the music where he goes ding 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 ding. It's like, oh my god, that's great. But we heard that about Burstow. Ding 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 ding. Yeah, let's wait and see what happens first. But look, with Guiu, I think, to be fair, I did get a few comments on the video saying like they're not comparable, and hopefully not.
Yeah.
It's just more attempt to trying to be funny. But either way, with Guiu, look. He came through Barca's academy, which you'd like to think if you're coming through academy of Barcelona.
You've got something. You've got something in it about you, like
you'd like to hope so.
Yeah.
And Chelsea obviously signed him because of a release clause that was in there. Was like 5-6 million euros, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But clearly they're loaning him here, and they don't want to have a permanent option in there. Then to me they think, hang on, we think there's something for him for longer term at Chelsea, and Chelsea are always going to be above us in the pecking order, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I'd like to hope that there's going to be encouragement there. Again, like with most of our signings, I can't confess to have seen anything of him, but apparently he was pretty good in the Club World Cup. I think he got something like half a dozen goals in the Conference League for Chelsea last year, which at the same, I'm in two minds about that because it's obviously good to do it on the European stage, but the Conference League, some of the teams you play in the group stage or the league stage probably won't be very good. So, look, we'll have to see. But one thing I've heard about him is apparently his pressing is relentless. He doesn't stop running, doesn't give people... And I think we're going to have that when a lot of the games we're going to play, we're probably not going to have a lot of the ball. So,
You need people to be running around and trying to get the ball back or putting pressure on the opposition, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So, and especially in the first few games that are probably the kindest run of fixtures we're going to have all season. It's obviously none of them are going to be easy, of course, but they're probably on paper compared to what we will have later on in the season. It's the kindest run we will have. So I think to have these, I think Guiu, in these games will really need to stand out and really need. So yeah, fingers crossed. If Chelsea see something in him long term, hopefully it means he's more than good enough for us.
I've got to ask the question, Michael, because obviously I said that we needed.
Are we massive?
Last time I spoke, I said we needed. I would see it 2 centre backs. People think Trey Hume's going to be this new Cafu thing in the Premier League, and I'm sorry, I've got to tell you, I think he's struggling in the Premier League. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I'm sitting in the year's time and saying, oh well, Trey Hume is a quality right back, but I just don't think he's Premier League sort of quality. But we'll see. Yeah, so if we get we need 2 centre halves. We'll both agree on that, Michael.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And I said we need a striker, experienced one, somebody who's been there and sort of scored the goals. But that Mark Guiu, whatever which way you want to pronounce it, he's sort of up and coming. So would you be happy going into the Premier League with the strikers that we've got at the moment, Isidore, Mayenda, Guiu, maybe possibly Vardy. I don't know, we discussed about Vardy. Maybe he's coming as a free agent. Because I know we're not disagreeing, Michael, didn't we?
No, we had a conversation about it.
Michael did make a point, though. He's right in the sense that Vardy's experienced Premier League. He ticks a few boxes. He could, bring these younger guys. He could help them out a little bit, couldn't he, with the experience he's had?
Because you weren't as struck on Vardy coming.
Not really,
and I can see why. Well, to some degree, I can see why people are because of the fact. Obviously, Leicester went down last year, but you got to remember. I think you got something like
Mr. Scores, mate. Just apologies because that mate has gone look anywhere.
No, it's fine. I've seen most. I actually see the TV over there as well.
Can you see it from there?
Yeah, well,
we've got tellies all over this, and we've got tellies everywhere. But Michael wants to sit here and Michael wants
and be thankful we're not in the Championship this year. But yeah, and hopefully next year and the years beyond that. But no, right. Quickly on the Vardy thing, I've not heard anything. It's just me suggesting who I think we could do a lot worse than signing Jamie Vardy for a year. And it's not necessarily that Vardy needs to start every game. It's more that Vardy still got, I think it was 9 goals and 4 or 5 assists last season in a
relegation side.
My mate Ant, who's a Leicester fan, who I do contact with, won't mind me saying this. Leicester were shocking last season. They were absolutely shocking. So for him to still get those figures and those numbers in that side...
Gary Lineker. Was he still laugh at us when we get relegated?
Aye, well...
So there you go.
Well, yeah, he's not on Match of the Day now, is he? So, yeah. But either way, I think... Look, I've got a gut feeling we'll sign Vardy on a free. I don't know what it is. Now, personally for me, I think it's more that... I don't think you start every game, but I think if you got half a dozen goals out of it...
and they kept us up.
Well, not just that, but if you kept us up, but also helped mould Guiu, helped mould Mayenda, Isidore. I just think we could do... I think it would make sense to me to sign him and then save the transfer funds for the 2 centre-backs. And I think we need another winger as well.
So there was, because that one fell through, didn't it?
Loriente, yeah.
Loriente fell through,
which
we haven't spoken about yet. But
well, let's just say agents.
Armand Loriente was obviously just after me and Matt
pretty much on the verge of joining,
we've done the video, and then I think it was about a week later, it was all set to join, got the private jet to Sunderland. Portugal, and then all of a sudden it fell through. Whatever you want to believe, I mean, Michael, you believe these agents want the biggest slice of the pie, want more wages. They pushed the luck, and we went do one basically.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that's probably a good thing in a lot of ways because it means we're not going to have our pants pulled down too much for, if we think something's dodgy's going, like, oh, fine, we'll go elsewhere then.
That's
and I think we'll have enough targets elsewhere to justify doing that. But no, for me. To get back to the point, I think, obviously goalkeeper I think is sorted now.
Yeah.
I think the main ones are 2 centre-backs, a right winger, and maybe another striker, but no an experienced one. Is what I think we'll do. So whether that's Vardy on a free, and then you save money on a right winger and a couple of centre-halves.
So we've got Roberts, obviously he's not going to, I think he could get loaned out, but we've got Roberts on the right, we've signed Talby.
I think he predominantly plays on the left.
On the left, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's someone who can fill in on the right, but mainly is on the left.
Sam Adingra is on the left as well.
Yeah.
So who else is going to go on the right? Who else can play on the right?
Well, at the minute, no one.
So we've got Roberts and Abdullah Barton going on the right. Abdullah Barton.
I forgot he was still there. But I can't ignore the fact Abdullah Barb, when he played a full season, he had a much better season statistically than Roberts. So I think Abdullah Barb probably for a lower end championship was probably not too bad, to be fair. I think in the championship as a squad option I wouldn't have complained too much, but for the Prem, no. It's just asking for trouble if you're playing. No offence to the guy, but if you're playing Abdullah Bar in the Premier League, I think you're going to be coming undone quite a bit. So.
But I also think Roberts is good with the ball, but offensively he's literally non-existent. In the Premier League, he will get ripped to pieces. He will, especially when we haven't got the ball. When you need somebody to come and sit in. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, I think one thing I will never accuse Roberts of is sort of slacking it off and not trying, because I think his work rate actually is quite underrated. But in the Prem, my thing is, I don't think I'd worry about him when we don't have the ball. My concern with Roberts would be his decision making and his final third end products. And again, I really look. If Roberts proves me wrong, hats off to you. I really hope you do, mate. But. Not that you'll be watching this, but but
he might be.
Well, maybe. Well, if you are Rob Patrick, please prove me wrong, because KLD clearly proved us wrong, and I would love you to do the same. But either way, I just don't think Patrick Roberts would be. His decision making in the final third is nowhere near good enough for Premier League. It's barely good enough for Championship, I would say, which is frustrating because technically he's one of the best players I've watched play for us. But it's like if he had the final third regularly, he wouldn't have been at us in the Championship. He would have been in the Premier League, wouldn't he? So as far as a Championship squad player, I think would have been more than fine for Roberts. But I think now you're just kind of... I mean, to be fair, it seems like he wants to stay and try and prove a point, which is a good attitude to have. I want all of our players to have that. So if he stays, I'm not going to feel like any sense of injustice or anything like that. But
I think what we'll do, Michael, we'll just go through these high points and we'll come back to where we think we need to strengthen, and we'll go back through this gun where we think we need to.
Okay, so just to start with then, since we're already on the subject, I think we need a right winger.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree. I'm looking through the team now. I'm thinking, well, if Talby plays on the left, Simon Adringer plays on the left. Obviously, Ashish went to Aberdeen. Didn't he? Was that a loan move?
No, that's a loan, but with an option to buy. I think. By the way, we forgot to mention we've also got Mundell there, but obviously he's on the left. So I think obviously Mundell's out injured at the minute.
For a few months, isn't he?
To be fair, well, I don't know how long the injury is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a few months. But I mean, so if you've got say if you had to shoe on Talby in on the right, and then you had like Adingra and Mundell on the left when everyone's fit. I think Talby knows that we're trying to sign more players in his position. So with that in mind, I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't sign another winger.
It's just with Man United sign all these players. I mean, they just signed that Sesko.
I know what you're doing.
Signed Bremo. They've signed a few good players. Man United. I'm thinking, is Diallo going to be, you know?
I'm so tired of this rabbit hole. Oh my God!
It's not going to happen, like, is it? But imagine if we signed Diallo for a season-long loan.
To anyone who's watched Avengers Endgame, you'll know what I mean when I say this. Don't give me hope.
There's Isak.
Is it? Oh God.
He's come to Sunderland.
What was the Man United sign? Oh yeah, Sesko. But to be fair, like, look, if obviously Ahmad, of course, is the dream signing. I'd love to get him back, but why would he leave Man United? That's the thing I'm looking at. He plays regularly. Granted, when we're coming in does change things a bit and makes it more interesting, but. Look, if there's a chance of Ahmad back, yes, you absolutely do it. But I would just be... I think that... Put it this way, I think there's more chance of Sean thinking Max Power's a good player than Ahmad Diallo coming to Sunderland.
Speaking of Max Power, where's he playing now? Because I said Bradford is the
Brentford, I was going to say.
Bradford is the captain.
Well, you think he's a good player?
I seen him walk on the team out.
Yeah.
He'll
be playing right now, probably.
I seen him tweeting the other day. Do you know what? In the day, I didn't really rate him, but in the day, he's still got a soft spot for Sunderland. And he's, you know, he always puts a tweet out every now and again. Thanks to the fans and that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a pretty big fan of Max. I'm a pretty big fan of Max Power, partly because it annoys Sean. It is quite funny. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Max Power's last act was the Lincoln shot, wasn't it? Which was like, oh my God, you absolute idiot. But no, I've got a lot of time for. But it's like, again, you can have fondness for some players in the lower leagues. Like, I love Bailey Wright, for example, but when we got rid of him, it was the right time. It was the right time. It was the right time for both to part ways.
Sometimes you've got to get the players at the right time, and I think that, you know, that was...
He more than helped us get back on the way back. But the point is, the battle I was saying, there's more chance of Sean rating Max Power than there is of Ahmad Diallo, I think, coming back. So, look, I would absolutely love to be wrong on this. I would love for people to clip this. I'd love for people to tell me, Michael, you said Ahmad wasn't coming back. If he signs this window for Sunderland, feel free. Clip this, screenshot it, take the mick out of me for it. I am asking you to do it. But Michael, I'd be very, very surprised.
Michael, if we sign Diallo in this window, Michael will wear a Newcastle top. I'm joking out.
I'm not that desperate.
I would never ask Mike to do it, and he wouldn't ask me either.
No, I don't think. Well, we'll see.
But going back to Michael, I just want to go back.
Right winger is what we need.
I just want to go back to the Guiu. Guiu. There was an obligation there as well, Mike. What we didn't mention, I was reading it by, I think Keith Downey was saying that he's got to also play a certain amount of games a week.
We have to pay a fine or something, don't we? Yeah.
What's your feelings on that?
I'm not a big fan of that, because you shouldn't have to just have the God-given right to play any games. But I get it from Chelsea's perspective, because what's the point in him coming here if he's not going to play?
They want him playing, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Of course they do. And if they see him as a long-term prospect for them, then absolutely should be wanting him to play. So for me, with Mark Guiu, look, I mean, if he ends up being good enough, then he'll definitely start a lot of games. Yeah. I guess the thing to say in that is the ball's in Mark Guiu's court. Yeah. And see how he does.
Yeah, but that's it. But when I first seen that, I was thinking, Chelsea, obviously, they're sort of unsure. They've agreed to deal with us, but at the same time, they're thinking, will he get the games that we really want him to get? Because we want to sort of try and loan him out where he's going to, you know, gain more experience. Maybe he's get his chance and score some goals as well at the same time. But they're a little bit unsure that he's going to get, you know, this loads of game time. They might think we're going to get another striker as well, I think, possibly.
Well, I suppose for Chelsea's point of view, if Mark Guiu doesn't play every game, then they get a fine from us. They get a fee, effectively. So I suppose for them it's kind of a win-win, really. I get the feeling, unless we sign someone who's marquee, that Guiu will probably play a lot. And in case you're interested, Sunderland won 1-0 against Arsborg.
One thing I don't like about this place is that there's no aircon.
I'm okay at the minute. Are you boiling like?
I'm sweating. I'm trying to cover me sweat marks as well. I'm on the camera. I'm like,
because the sweat
keep
marks
me arms.
Sweat marks on the biceps. I'll put on some muscles. But yeah, no. Look, I think looking at Mark Guiu, like I said, I still reckon ideally I would like someone with a bit of experience up front. Because let's say if it was there was a report from Talkshite that said we were looking at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I'm like,
oh no.
As a player, yes, I would absolutely have Calvert-Lewin. But again, one, how often is he going to be fit? And two, I've heard his wage demands apparently are utterly ridiculous. So I'm like, well, no. I would rather have, if it was a choice of Vardy or Calvert-Lewin, I'd rather have Vardy because you can count on Vardy being fit much more often.
Yeah.
So, let's say hypothetically we sign Vardy, and you've got Vardy, Guiu, Mayenda, Isidore. For now, see how that does.
Would you be content with that, would you?
As long as we address all the other positions, then I'll be content enough with it.
I'll be a bit worried. Do you know what? I'm a bit worried. Even though I'm a fan of Mayenda, and he signed, obviously, we'll mention that he signed.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Mayenda, I think that
it's a big jump, isn't it?
It's a big jump, but I think another couple of years' time, if he keeps on progressing, I think Mayenda could be a really good striker. You know, I really think he could.
So.
I think there's something there. I mean, some of the goals he scored, Michael, and I really think he has got that quality about him. You know what I mean? Fair enough, his right foot's not great, but he scored with the right foot at Wembley. It was a great throw by Robertson, isn't it? But I do think there's a player there, and I think
No, I do.
Do you know what I mean? I think he could.
I think I'm a big fan of Mayenda, and quickly on the new deal, that is a fantastic bit of news.
Brilliant. Another 5 year, Michael, 5 years. Michael likes the 5.
Michael likes the 5 years. Not in that way. I'm not.
No, likes the 5 year deals.
5 year deals for players. I was going to say someone will end up taking that out of context, knowing society today. But with Mayenda, with the 5 year contract, it's really good because again, if you go down, you're protected by the fact that you've got him on another 4 years after that, so, making a good bit of money from him. But I've got the impression that say I have Mayenda and Isidore, I've got more belief that Mayenda will make the step up more than Isidore will. But what might help Isidore is that what he's actually best at is instinctive finishes, and he's going to get a lot less chances in the Prem. The thing is, he just needs to be clinical and take them.
Yeah.
But and for them not to be disallowed by VAR either. But with Mayenda, I mean, my big concern with Mayenda, it's not because of Mayenda, to be honest. It's more that I don't know if it's fair to put all that pressure on him in the Premier League when again we're not good. In the Championship, we were probably among one of the top 4 teams in the league, so we were going to get a lot of chances in games.
Yeah.
Whereas, and if you remember, Mayenda, there was a couple of games where he missed some big I think
Blackburn away.
Blackburn away.
Still one
Stoke
goal
away as well. Blackburn away through a 1-on-1. Stoke away, the header from 6 yards. But to be fair, since then I think he has matured. If you look at the goal at Bristol City as an example, where when we had 10 men by the way, and he managed to pick the ball up and just goes, right, screw half your team. I'm going to go run past all of you and go and score a great solo effort. So Mayenda's definitely got that in him. I think clearly the club have given him that contract because they sense that Mayenda will develop into a good Premier League player. Whether that's with us or someone else, I have absolutely no idea. So, but no, Mayenda, I'm buzzing with that one. So, but I would like to lessen the pressure on him going into the Prem, basically, which is why I think we could do with another sort of experienced forward. That's fine, go for it. But yeah, you can avoid looking at the bottom bit.
No, that's something that just
no, it's fine, go for it. No, but anyway, Mayenda, I think it's really good to get that deal tied down. I think we need to get and I know there's question marks over a lot of people about whether Dan Neil is good enough or anything else. Oh, funny you say that. So just Dan Neil.
You just remind us about that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to quickly talk about the contracts now?
Contracts, yeah.
Right, okay. So we're talking about Dan Neil and Dennis Turkin. So obviously, this is weird because when it comes to the likes of say, Dan Neil, I know there's been a number of fans that don't seem to rate him that highly. Me personally, I think that's very, very harsh. I think a lot of people kind of. Right, is Daniel good enough for the Premier League? Well, one, I don't know because I haven't seen.
Exactly, that's the
I
thing.
don't know. We haven't seen him play in that league.
Know.
I can get why some people would say he's not the way he plays is that he like to try when the game's at a slower tempo, it suits him.
Yeah.
But the problem with the Premier League, one, we're not going to have a lot of time on the ball, and two, the pace is like fast, relentless.
150 miles an hour.
So on some level, I could see people saying Dan Neil would struggle, but at the same time, I don't think that means that he's a bad player. But the question I have with Neil and with Dennis Serkin, because ideally I'd like to have both of them signed as contracts for like squad depth. But if you're looking at Dennis Serkin, for example, I also am at the point where I wouldn't be against selling him because I really like him, but the amount of niggly injuries he keeps on getting, it's getting to the point where I'm thinking, and especially with both of them being in the last year of their contracts. If they're not going to sign deals, they'll be gone this window.
So you might try and get something off them, try and get a transfer fee. Is that what you're saying, Michael?
Well, if neither of them are going to sign, then yes, because you can't have it. The risk of
going for nothing. Yeah.
And you got to remember, again, I know I keep mentioning PSR a lot, but the Smoggies have just taken the lead.
PSR, Michael, PSR.
PSR Smoggies. No deal, right.
We can't spend money. We can't spend money because PSR. And look on Talk Sports.
No, who?
What are you talking about?
We don't have to sell this summer.
We don't have to sell this summer. It's funny that.
That's like
them two.
You tell Gabby Bonho and Jimmy O'Hara were just laughing their heads off at it.
We don't have to sell this summer.
Do you know what? Right, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to recompose myself. Yeah, but if you're looking at if you're looking from a PSR point of view, Dan Neil being sold is pure profit because it's an academy lad.
Yeah.
You don't always sell on close to someone else,
yeah.
And therefore you get the main bulk of the money and everything else and all that. So if Dan Neil isn't going to sign a contract, then it makes sense to get a bit of money from. I still think you could get up to 10 million for Dan Neil.
Oh, definitely. I think it is. Yeah,
here's my shout.
I do.
If Dan Neil goes, I think he goes to Ipswich.
Not bad. Yeah,
Think about it, because they were going for Hayden Hackney. Hayden Hackney rejected them, didn't go there. They're on the hunt for a midfielder quite clearly.
Yeah.
And I think for Ipswich, if Dan Neil went, and this is hypothetical again, it's funny because some people think I have inside info from the club. I promise you I do not. I don't get anything on inside info. It's just me trying to put 2 and 2 together and get 10. So, but when it comes to Dan Neil, someone like an Ipswich would be great for him because I think he would be able to run the show in the middle of the park for them when they're going to have a lot of the ball in most games. But look, if Dan Neil and Dennis said, and the point is, if they're not going to sign deals, then you've got to sell the pair of them for me and get
some recruit, get some form of money off the player. Yeah.
Exactly, and but if Dan Neil goes, then I think we might need another midfielder. You know, and whether that's someone experienced to come in, like sort of be sixth choice, or whether it's someone but who's content to help out when their role is needed. I don't know.
Stop me there, does Dan Neil get in this? I mean, if he a player, if we're going to play 4-2-3-1, or which sort of system of player? You'd think it'd be Diarra, Xhaka, Siddiqui. Does Dan Neil get in this team anyway, Michael? Well, will he be basically used as a
squad player?
Yeah.
Well, put it this way: the midfield you've just mentioned didn't include Enzo Lefebvre either. I mean, I know there's Twitter rumours about him wanting to leave, so I'm not going to try and talk about that too much because we don't know.
I cannot believe that rumour at all, Michael. I cannot believe.
Unless someone substantial comes out and says it, I don't believe it either at the moment. I think part of the reason he didn't travel to Germany is because at the time of speaking, tomorrow we have a game here. So I think it's just he's going to be here. I don't think there's much more into it than that, but I could be wrong. But my point was, I think with does Daniel get in that team? Well, okay, if you're mentioning, Siddiqui, Xhaka, Diarra, Lefebvre, Chris Rigg, another one as well. Yeah. Nah, he doesn't get in that. Sure, not in the Premier League, I don't think. And I know I've kind of just been a hypocrite saying writing players off and stuff like that, but I think when you look at these little, like Diarra's our record signing, I believe, so he's obviously going to play. Yeah. Lefebvre, Regis was very key to get that one.
Yeah. So he's going to be
over the line, as in on loan. Obviously, the permanent thing was an obligation, but like. Regis was a big factor in bringing him here, I think. So I think I'd be very surprised if he doesn't play very much. Xhaka's obviously going to play if he's fit, unless he does a typical Sunderland thing and is out for like the whole season, which will be to our luck. But point is, Jack Diamond's just go for Stockport. See, there you go, that's relevant. But no, I don't think Dan Neil gets in that. No. So. Maybe, to be fair, that might be part of the reason why he isn't signing. And to be fair, I can kind of get that because it's him valuing playing football. I originally was quite confident of Dan Neil signing a contract, but the longer this goes on, the more I'm like, he's probably going to end up getting sold. So the best case scenario, if he doesn't sign a contract, if you get a bit of money from this window, sell him to a club with a big sell-on clause, stuff like that, then at least we're going to be protected and assured that way. So
long
story
short on them two, if they don't sign contracts, you sell them.
Yeah, basically sell them.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but anyway,
that's what I might have done before we'd sort of forgetting about it. But obviously we've talked about the centre back situation. I think we've sort of
that's the big one, isn't it?
We need some centre backs, Michael.
funny you mentioned that because I got sent a. Let me see if I can find it because Paul.
I think left back was fine. I mean, I think that is it from Ronaldo, Mandavo,
Ronaldo.
I think he'll be left back. It's going to be Ballard with whoever comes in. I mean, Jensen's seat, you would imagine he'll get.
I think he'll get loaned out.
'09. What do you think on '09? He'll be used as a squad player, won't he, Michael?
I think so.
I'd be good if '09 got loaned out or got sold.
No, I think '09 will stay. But I think he'll be. I think he'll be sort of like the lowest
requirement sort of thing.
Not so much. Well, yeah, I suppose on the pitch technically. I mean, I think '09 will play a lot in the cup, for example. But I think with '09, I love Luke '09 a bit, and it wouldn't shock me if '09 made me shut up and prove me wrong. And again, I'd love him to do that. I've never seen a bloke work so hard at the club than Luke '09 does to progress to the level that he's at now. But I'm not gonna lie, with VAR in the Prem, he would get absolutely murdered.
It could be
like
a bit
I've
of a
said, not to do this too often, but unless he stops doing that to opposition players, he would give away probably double figures in penalties this season. So I think he would be a very handy option to have. But I'd be very surprised if he started many games in the Prem.
Yeah.
I know he stepped up from League One to the Championship, but let's get real. This is a considerable step up.
It's a huge
Championship
step.
to the Premier League.
It's a huge step, mate.
It's a big difference. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of the situation for me.
But do you know what?
I love '09 still.
I love '09. And do you know what, Michael? This is his 8th pre-season with Sunderland. 8 years. I mean, 2 more years and you get like a testimony. I really hope he gets
just
to
keep
that.
him for 2 years just for that.
I'd love it because it's sort of like a fairy tale story, like where he started off.
Well, he joined at the lowest point in our history, didn't he?
Yeah,
started the League One years,
and he sort of at the start of his career he was at Watford, and they told him he wasn't good enough, so he got released. Then I think he went to. Was that when he went to Wickham?
I think it was Wickham, unless it was someone he signed.
So somewhere else, but then I think.
Well, Wickham was who we signed him from.
And then he went to Wickham, and he actually. Do you know when he was at Wickham? He actually loved the club and loved the fans and that, there.
Yeah.
And then when we first signed him, he still had a picture on his Twitter of Wickham and everything. So he must have still had a lot of love for them. But to drive up to Sunderland and to totally move
move up the leagues effectively. It's incredible. I mean, well, do you remember? I don't know if you remember this, but I think it was on Sunderland Till I Die. It was the season covering the first League One year, the Donald Methvin one.
Yeah.
But Luke O'Neill made a quote that he said. The aim was to get promoted so that we're one league below the Premier League, and that was my dream to play in the Prem. Now, maybe Luke O'Neill might get that dream if, let's say for example, if we're away at Burnley and we play really well and we're like 2-0 up with 2 minutes to go. Even something as sentimental as bringing O'Neill on for 2 minutes, so you can say he's played in the Prem, even for 2 minutes, it's like something incredible. No, but look, as O'Neill, O'Neill for me will probably be fourth, at best probably fourth choice. But again,
Michael, you're going to get injuries, aren't you, in the season?
Well, absolutely, yeah. Well, Sunderland always get them worse than most by the feet, or so it feels. But another thing to bear in mind, and again, we don't like to think about this, but there is the possibility we go down. There's a big good possibility we go down, I suppose, if we don't. 09 will still be more than handy in the Championship.
So you've got to look at the flip side.
So you've got to look at it that way for me. Again, like we know, we don't want to think about that at all, but there is the possibility of that. So I think 09 stays anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke 09 stays here until he retires. At this point.
I'd love it. Do you know what? I mean, I would just love him just to stay, get the 10 years and then get a testimonial. I think it would just be absolutely unbelievable for the lad.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think he's well loved. I mean, he divides people's opinions on social media, especially on Twitter, because people say he's not good enough and this, that, and the other. But he keeps on proving people wrong. When he's in League One, he's not good enough when he's in League One. Then we got promoted to the Championship. He's definitely not good enough. And I mean, lots of people have said this. And then I thought he'd done really well in the Championship last season. He played his part. And when people thought it was going to be Ballard and it was other centre back, Meppen. Everybody thought it was going to be Ballard and Meppen, didn't they?
So did I.
Do you know what I mean? And it was sort of it was as if it was 09 was the first, and it was a case of between Meppen and Ballard. So
yeah, I mean, but look, at the end of the day, 09's a good example of someone whose character should be praised to the absolute hilt, because he doesn't. Actually, funny enough, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a documentary that's just came out. It was a 25-minute documentary about Sunderland's rise back to the Premier League.
You sent that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I still haven't watched that yet.
Right, long story short, I won't spoil it for you. Well, obviously you know how it ends. We go up to the Prem. Of course I'm not going to. Of course that's going to spoil it for you. But a quote Luke O'Neill did say stuck with me, and I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was something along the lines of, he recognises how much the football club means to the area and the supporters up here. So as a result, he never takes anything for granted, and that's the bang-on attitude to have. And I think a lot of players often do take things, not Sunderland's necessarily in recent years, but unless it's Ian Paveda, I suppose. But you know, that's another one who needs to go. But like, my point with 09 is that even if he doesn't play as much, his characterisation for the dressing room could be important. Huge. And often that's something I think a lot of supporters don't factor in, don't consider as much.
Good point,
You know, obviously, look, you have to do the job on the pitch, of course, that's the main thing. But sometimes there's characters in a dressing room that are really important and vital to a way a team succeeds.
Not so much on the pitch, but
yeah. Sometimes, you know, like you said, there's a lot of things off the pitch that are important that we probably don't know about. I think 09 would be massive on that respect, but yeah, I'd be hard pressed if I say if he's good enough for the Premier League. Look, if he, like I said, if he proves us wrong, fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And if he ends up scoring the winning goal in the 90th minute at St James's Park, you know, that would be, and especially if it was a controversial goal that VAR lets allowed or something, and you know, increase the Geordie feud, then that would be really funny. But look, joking aside, I think 09's obviously a valuable servant of the club. I guess he's been here long enough to probably start putting him in that conversation, even though I know there are some fans that won't like to hear that because it's like, and I suppose the reason why is because he joined when we were in League One, and that for us is the lowest it should. The lowest it should get is being in the Championship. But what I mean is, it should be. The League One has been the lowest point of our entire history, I get people associate him with that, but at the same time, he has risen up from League One through the Prem. And if you cast your mind back to when we were the first game against Charlton in League One, when Guiu scored the winning goal, like, remember, like, 09 looked like a headless chicken that day.
Didn't he?
And he'll say that himself.
Wasn't he?
He'll have said that himself. He was nowhere near the performance level he wanted to be at. So really, in that regard, you go, well, all right. If you said to him then, was it 7 years' time? You'll be a Premier League player.
He'd laughed at you, wouldn't he?
Absolutely, but no one deserves it probably more than he does. But he can't be starting in the Prem. Let's get right. Unfortunately, so to bring it back to the point.
Centre back. We need centre backs.
We need two really. But that's what I was going to show you.
That one from Bologna, Michael. I really like the look of him as well.
John Lusimi,
and I really hope. But there's rumours that he wants to play Champions League football, or he's not really interested in Sunderland. I didn't really like to hear that, but then it's not really. Is it reliable or not? Or is it?
Well, let's put. Well, this isn't about Lusimi, but let me put it in this way. Right, what you did to me with Diallo, I'm going to do to you here. Right, or try doing it with Diallo. Right, Bologna are on the verge, I think, are in advanced talks to sign a centre back from West Brom, and the suggestion is that it's to replace Lusimi, And again, this could be nothing because we hear stuff all the time that ends up being...
Crystal ball. Michael's going to predict something here.
Oh, God, here we go. No pressure, guys, no pressure. But I've got a gut feeling we'll sign him.
Really? Oh,
I really hope I am right, to be fair.
I think he could be a very good signing.
I think it's more because Bologna look like they could be signing a centre-back from West Brom. Lusimi's got 12 months left of his contract. There's suggestions in the Italian media or the Turkish media, which... take that with a pinch of salt. The suggestions that Simi could be coming here. It's suggestions.
Stop getting me hopes up, Michael. Stop getting me hopes up.
Well, now you know how I felt about Ahmad. But yeah, no. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lusimi doesn't come here because but I hope he looks past the fact that we're not in Europe and no offense, come on, if you're able to attract Granit Xhaka here. Come on, Lusimi, you should be able to at least see some level of attraction to Sunderland. But we'll wait and see. So look, we need two centre backs. The one I was going to show you, it's not Lusimi.
That's what I was about to say, Mike. We've been with the Lusimi, but is there somebody else who?
Hang on, let me see if I can get this.
There's not really much happening.
It's someone called Alderete.
Where's he from?
I think I can't remember, some sort of La Liga team. I think. Bear with me a minute. Oh, here we go. So it's Omar Alderete. Says set for and this is from someone who works for Sky Sports, by the way, so it's probably reliable. Set for a Premier League move with Sunderland and Crystal Palace keen on him. Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup, by the way. Getafe is who he's from. 20-year-old, 78-year-old centre-back has also been proposed to Bournemouth, but not a priority. Things expected to speed up soon. Now, if he's been proposed to clubs, that suggests to me it's agent talk, trying to get him move around. But I also wouldn't be entirely surprised at that. So it could be Alderete and Lusimi, we don't know yet. To get back to really what we need, like I said, I think if we signed two centre-backs, and ideally I'd like one of them at least before West Ham. Because again,
it's
because the first couple of games are such big opportunities.
To get points on the board.
Yeah, exactly. So, but, look, I mean, I suppose there's the former West Ham left back that from Besiktas. You know, the free agent. But is it Masuaka? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Reinildo and Ballard at centre back for the first couple of games while we're signing. Well, hopefully signing Lusimi, if that does happen. So, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I think 2 centre backs, a right winger, and a forward, and then that's without having to replace players who are going. So, I would say probably. I reckon we might sign up to another 5 or 6 players, including if Neil leaves, for example. So
that's another thing I was mentioning. There's not many players like going out. Is there like we don't seem to be selling?
And that's probably going to be quite busy over the next few weeks.
I think in the end of August you're going to see a lot of players leaving out on loan and things.
Do you know? Funny you mentioned that because. You remember, when we did our business in the Championship, that was quite slow and people got frustrated with it.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we often waited was because by the end of the window, Premier League clubs, were letting their fringe players go because they sorted their squads out.
Yeah.
So it meant that the reason we waited so long, because you wait by the end, you'll get someone better. So prime example, Chris Meffam, right? Last season. You know, he wouldn't have left Bournemouth right at the start of the window because Bournemouth probably needed him to bring more centre backs in and sign some players. But Meffam was then allowed to go out on loan on deadline day, and of course we ended up getting him. And it ended up being one of the best signings of last season for us.
He was really good.
There were patches where he was a bit meh, but in general I thought he was very good.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that is the Championship. But the point I'm making is that was us in the Championship, so I wouldn't be surprised if that a lot of these fringe players are going to go out to clubs later on in the window when we've got our squad sorted. So I'm thinking of that. Well, Pierre-Emerick, who knows what the hell's happening with him, because I've heard apparently he signed for Saint Etienne, but then it's not been announced because Ekwa apparently didn't know that he was going to Saint Etienne. I'm like, how can you not know? I don't understand that. But anyway, right. So I'll include Ekwa for the moment, but the likes of Pierre-Emerick, Nazari Russian, Abdullah Bar, Ian Preveda,
Niall Huggins. What do you think?
I'll get onto him in a minute, but Louis Himia, players all like that are all going to be you'd like to think they'll all find clubs. I mean, Ekwa, hopefully we should be able to get a tiny bit of money. A lot of them we should be able to get a bit of money off them. But, so that's I think you are right. I think we are going to see a hell of a lot of outgoings over the next few weeks.
In the last 10 days.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the last week of the window where we really see that.
Last week it'll be a lot going out.
But as far as Niall Huggins is concerned, this is partly what makes me think: could Huggins be and it's a big risk this, but is he going to be the backup at left back if Sirkin does go? If you could promise me Huggins stays fit, I wouldn't be against that.
That's the thing.
Now, to be fair to Huggins, unlike Sirkin, his injuries haven't been the little niggly ones, which is just his injury one. He's had 2 nasty big injuries, one right after the other.
Crucial ligament
and
ones.
When you looked at him, I mean, it's against Shields, obviously, but when you look at likes of Shields or even against Hearts, you can tell he hasn't quite lost his sense of pace. So I think Huggins might play a bigger role than people think, but. And I like Huggins a lot. I do really like Niall Huggins. I feel so sorry for him because he hasn't had much, if any, luck whatsoever with injuries. Niall Huggins, I think he'll stay. What do you think?
I'm not quite sure. I don't know. He's been getting a bit of time, isn't he, on the friendlies? And I say the friendlies as well. I haven't really been watching them, scrutinising them, but I've watched little bits here and there. But he has appeared in a few of the friendlies, hasn't he? And although in the friendlies we've been good in certain games and we haven't been so good in certain games, it's just about fitness, Michael, for me.
Exactly. That's the main thing.
People shouldn't take any notice of the results and things. I don't think we shouldn't be scrutinising them anyway.
I'll take notice of the result today because we won. But I know what you mean. The main objective is
fitness, isn't it?
I think the main thing now is to
sharpness,
sharpness, but also to have an idea of what your side's going to be against West Ham and play that as close as you can to start the season. Obviously, against Rayo Vallecano tomorrow, obviously that's going to be like Isidore Lefebvre.
Are you going, Michael? Are you going?
Yeah, I've got a ticket for it. So Isidore Lefebvre, Guiu, I think will be replay as well. Dan Neil, basically anyone who didn't go to Augsburg will probably will stay here and play tomorrow. So, with Huggins, I really do like the look of him, but obviously, because I think remember the half season around the second championship season when Mowbray was still here before he got sacked. Around then, Huggins was actually one of our best players, and he looked really, really promising. But you remember the goal he scored against Watford as an example.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
But look, I think Huggins. I wouldn't be right. Here's another crystal ball prediction, possibly. Huggins will either be backup right back, or he'll be backup left back if Sirkin's sold. That's what I suspect.
I think that's a bit risky, though. Do you not think, Michael?
Yeah.
Even though we're going to come to our latest signing, it hasn't been confirmed by the club, but it was here we go by Fabrizio Romano.
Is it not Romano?
Romano. Arthur Masuaka.
That's what I'm going to say. So I know I probably got that wrong, but I apologise.
I've seen little clips of him, but again, not loads, and I've seen good bits and bad bits, Michael.
Yeah. To me, the bits I've heard are going forward, he can offer something, struggles defensively, and I'm kind of like, struggle defensively when we're going to be spending a lot of time out off the ball, which is going to be a bit. But I don't know. Regis, to be fair, knows how to drill a team and knows how to. Like last season's a good example. Know how to make them solid first and foremost. So I'm hoping this. Obviously, look. I mean, I trust the club. They obviously see something in this guy. If we're going to be, I wouldn't be surprised if we're signing him. So he plays left back, and Reynaldo moves to centre back with Ballard for the first couple of games.
Possibly until we get the centre half.
That's what my gut feeling tells us. But so we'll see. But I mean, for free, Prem experience, 31. You know. Okay, you could do a lot worse, I think.
Well, I'd say you've signed Mandavo for it. Is it Frenildo or Mandavo? He's experienced.
You're doing
31.
Reynaldo.
Mandavo. I'll just say Mandavo for now. He's experienced from Atletico Madrid. Yeah, Xhaka's experience in the Premier League, and Bayer Leverkusen won the Europa.
And then Masuaka as well, experience. You know.
Yeah,
so we've got Masuaka and Xhaka who's got Prem experience, and then Reynaldo who's got top flight experience, like as in like proper elite experience, like
Mark Guiu, who's sort of like had a bit game time here and there. I say not the Gibsons, but we're still. Do you think we've got enough experience in there, Mike, or do you think we still need more?
If we sign the likes of say Vardy, I think we might have enough experience, but I wouldn't complain with a bit more.
I still think,
for the Premier League, I wouldn't complain with a bit more.
I'm still not content, and even though we've spent all this money on the players, we've spent 140 million. I still don't think we've addressed certain issues of the squad. Where, I mean, a right back, I just think Troy Hume. I hope I'm wrong. Touch wood. I hope I'm wrong. But all the fans love Troy Hume because he's got a great tackle. But this season, watch him in the Premier League against really top opposition. We'll see how good he really is, Michael.
We'll
see how good he really is.
We'll see.
And I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't think he's going to be anywhere near good enough. And we need two centre halves. That's an absolute must.
Yeah,
because you've got Ballard. Seal's going to get loaned out. O'Neill will be a big part player. Midfield looks not too bad. We need a right winger because we've only got Roberts, and Bart will probably go out. And honestly, what worries me is the strikers. I mean, Isidore proved in the Championship he scored an odd goal, a really good goal, but then he's just inconsistent. Mienda is very raw. He will improve. He will get better, but he's still is he going to be good enough for the Premier League? I don't think.
Is it fair to put that pressure on him right now?
That's what I'm saying. So fair. And you've got Mark Hugh, who he hasn't really played much at Chelsea.
Remember,
he could be the secret assassin. I don't know.
Maybe. He's the same age as Mienda as well, though. So that's another thing.
That's what I'm saying. So I'd be happy if we'd sign another striker, Mike, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is, for me, it would be another striker, a right winger, two centre backs. I'm obviously of the opinion I have a gut feeling Trey Hume will prove to be good enough. And I know
you're right and I'm wrong.
Well, put it this way, I think a lot of people view the Trey Hume thing on the Derby game last season when Anthony Gordon did skin it. But as I keep on saying, Anthony Gordon is one of the best wingers in the Premier League.
True, very true.
If he stands up against Brentford or Wolves or Burnley's or West Ham's wingers, then if he struggles against them, then yes, I agree, we need a new right back.
Yeah.
But I think I'd be surprised if Trey Hume doesn't start.
But I do really like Trey Hume's tackles. He puts them tackles in and they get you out of your seat, and you like that, don't you? But I just watch him on his defensive side. The goalie, some of the goals, that goal at Coventry here in the second leg, it was his fault. When the cross come across, he didn't track his man. He does that quite a lot. He doesn't. And his job at right back is to track the players coming in from the right, and that goal. What he scored was his fault. If you watch it back, there's been a few times. But like you see, I'm pickpocketing certain things with him here, but I just don't think he's good enough, mate.
Well, look, I mean, if the club doesn't view him as good, well, apparently we're linked with Dortmund right back or whatever it was. I can't remember what his name is, but it was someone who was obviously a regular at Dortmund, or someone I think it was a squad player or regular at Dortmund. I can't remember. But look, we know we still need a fair few. We know we need to have probably another 4 or 5 to come in to give ourselves a shot at staying up, because I stand by, I think. But the thing that gives me a bit of hope, and it's just hope because I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I don't think Leeds or Burnley have had a better window than us.
They haven't so far.
No, I don't think so. That could change.
That could I don't think it'll change with Burnley, mind. I think possibly Leeds could push the boat. That will put Burnley's kind of.
But even if Leeds do push the boat out, I don't think they've had a better window than what we've been able to bring in. At least on paper, we don't know how their players might adapt better than ours. We don't know. I think Burnley will get bottom. I've been pretty confident about that. I think Burnley's. I think when you look at they've lost Brownhill, they've lost Egan Riley, they've lost Trafford, they've lost they've lost some pretty big players in the spine of their team. They've signed Dubravka, to be fair. I don't think for them, I don't think he's a bad keeper actually, but I think. The point is, I think we've had a better window than the other two. No, I know we probably needed to do more, but we've had the financial scope to sign better than them two and spend more.
We just need one more worse team than them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. But the reason I was going to say that was, well, Bremo's left Brentford. Wissa could be on his way out of Brentford. They've lost Norgard, who's their captain. They've lost Thomas Frank, who's their manager. So this is what makes me think. Now again, always the caveat is there's still a few weeks left, but. I've got a good feeling that I think if we do stay up, I think Brentford are in real trouble.
I'm going to ask you, Michael, because we're going to wrap it up now because we've been going an hour and a half. And I've said
crazy. Yeah, we will.
I said that not to trim it down. He's going to start learning. Well, not learn, but I think people like to hear us waffle on. I think Michael, but
fair play to you if you do, especially me.
Obviously, but Michael. Before ball's kicked, our first game of the season is next Saturday against West Ham. First Premier League.
Scary that I think.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
You're asking for a prediction, aren't you?
Not prediction for that game. Prediction for. Do you think we're going to be good enough by the obviously when the window? And
are you asking? Do I think we'll stay up?
Aye.
Right.
Who's your bottom three teams? Anyway, who would be your bottom three?
You better answer this question.
I'll do it. Yeah, I will.
Always put me on the spot.
I will.
Right. Okay then. The caveat of this is. If we get what we need, so to be clear, centre back, right winger, striker, maybe right back, maybe possible right back, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Hugh might need competition anyway, to be fair. Right. My gut tells me, and this is a gut feeling, and Sean knows my gut feelings with Sunderland tend to be, well, not wildly wrong. Let's put it that way. My gut says my bottom three right now are Burnley.
That's mine.
Leeds.
That's mine.
And Brentford.
That's my bottom three.
So you've got these qualms. I want to stress that. That is if we address what we need.
Yeah.
If we don't, we will get relegated.
I think due to the points what we just mentioned, Wissa will probably leave Brentford. They've lost their manager, Thomas Frank.
Bremo's gone.
When Bremo's gone.
Norgard, their captain, left for Arsenal. Yeah.
I think they're going to fail that.
I rate the signing of Jordan Henderson for them, but at the same, but I can't help but wonder. Did we not go for him because we wanted to get Xhaka? And I'm thinking, and by the way, I'm not going to rewrite history because I still would have liked us to have signed Henderson.
Yeah, same here.
Not just for sentimentality, but I think he would have offered something as well. But I wonder, Henderson's 34, 35 years old now?
35 now.
To be fair,
I think might have just gone 36.
Maybe.
Possibly.
So, I mean, to be fair to him, if he's still playing for Isaac, he should be able to play for Brentford, to be fair. But Ajax, yeah. But I also get I worry about Brentford. I'm not gonna lie, and I know it's probably an easy answer. I think Wolves and West Ham aren't having great windows either at the moment, but I still think both of them will have enough to keep themselves up and get
West
out of it.
Ham's lost a couple of good players though.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Look, forget my feelings on say David Moyes for a second, but like Everton will not go down. I'd be absolutely astonished if Moyes and Everton fit really well, and I'd be very surprised if if Everton get relegated, and they shouldn't be in the conversation to go down anyway, really. But My gut feeling at the moment, as long as we address what we need, which I do think we will, to be fair, I think we will address what we need in the rest of this window.
You were confident we're going to stay up on you. I'm just telling by your vibes.
I'm not going to say I'm confident, but I'm more optimistic than I was at the end of the playoff final, put it that way. So I am cautiously optimistic. That's the best phrase. I'm on tenterhooks at the minute. I still think we've got a lot of things to address, which we've talked about. I still think when Sean's let me convince him that we might have a chance.
I think we'll address the keeper situation. I think Robin Roefs.
Sorry, Roefs.
Yeah, I'm hoping he could be the gem because I think the keeper could be crucial this season.
Keepers can often save you half a dozen points in a season.
And I think your back four needs to be solid because that could be crucial. It's the goals. It's the goals, Mike. What worry me? Where's the goals coming from? Where's the goals coming from, Mike?
Yeah,
obviously in the comment section, let us know what you think. Let us know
what do you think.
I'm trying to be a dominator. I want to be optimistic, and I want to see.
It is going to be a big fight, isn't it?
Of course, it will be.
You know, if we're going to stay up, there's every chance it's going to be scraped on the final day or something. You know,
I'm not going to be dealing with that. Like,
I got one for you actually. Then right. So if you're offered by the end of game week 37, we're 17th, but we're 1 point above 18th, you take it.
Oh, Michael.
And to make it even harder for you, we've got Chelsea at home on the final day.
No, because we'll get beat off Chelsea and then we'll go down the last game of the season. No.
All right, fine,
5 games left.
Let me rephrase that then. Okay. Would you take after game week 38, finishing 17th on goals scored? So basically it means the goal difference, say Brentford finish 18th, we finish on exactly the same points as them, exact same goal difference, but we've scored more goals and stay up because of that.
Well, I've obviously...
no, it's not going to do good for your heart rate,
no,
is it?
No, not being
my heart.
I'm hoping that if we stay up, but
you just
it doesn't go to the last...
HMS piss safety, piss
survival. It doesn't go to the last game of the season, we need to win to stay up with some of that.
To be honest, look, I think just stay up at all costs for me. Where were you? Look, right, if you're asking me, I think Brentford will struggle massively, and I think... Right, okay, you want to put me on the spot? My gut feeling says we finish 17th.
Right.
But that is if we get what we need.
Aye. I'm gonna say we'll stay up, we'll just see a scrape it. Now, watch us have a really good season, finish mid-table.
Hey, I mean, don't get... I'll be buzzing with that.
And all of our subscribers and be saying, "Hey, Sean,
if we end up being nowhere near the relegation battle, then every single person in the comment section here come back and say, "Ha, I told you we'll have a good season." Brilliant. We want us to.
All Sunderland fans, we just want us to be successful and try. And the first season's gonna be hard, isn't it?
Of course it is, but like, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen a lot of people say Sunderland will be nowhere near trouble. There was one saying like, there was even Mark Goldbridge.
Yeah, the Man United.
Even he said Sunderland to stay up, but that was after we signed Xhaka. But another reason I think we might do it or have a better chance than people think is more because I think Xhaka's going to be a huge influence. I think Xhaka is going to be put it this way, I think in a lot of games when he's going to be in the midfield, I think that his experience will grind us through.
We'll get results over the line.
Obviously not against the likes of your Liverpools or your Arsenals or your Man Cities or Chelsea's. Like, obviously they'll be too good for us. But I mean, like, you know, when we're playing like your Palaces at home maybe, or your Forest at home, your Wolves, West Ham's at home maybe, you know, all of these, I think that's going to play massively into it. And I think, put it this way, I think we've got the best chance out of the 3 promoted clubs to stay up. I think us and Leeds are quite. I don't think Leeds are out of the question either. But at the minute, I think we. Right, at the minute, my bottom 3 would be Burnley, Leeds, and Brentford.
Yeah. I mean, don't get us wrong.
So hopefully Brentford don't sign anyone, and they can just like really struggle to score goals, and we can beat them. And
all the subscribers watching, it's going to be a roller coaster season. It's going to be a roller coaster. I mean, be prepared. There's going to be some bad games where we're going to be on the wrong end of some big scores, but we've got to just try and stick with them, stick with the players, not get too much on the backs. But obviously, we don't want to bend over and take it up with the backside and say, just hit us for 5, 6, 7 nils and things like that. But you've got to be realistic, and you've got to try and win them games against the not like your
the teams that are more likely to be down the bottom.
And your Leeds is not just betting them.
Well, this is what I was going to say though, because these 3 games, as I've said, West Ham, Burnley, and Brentford. You've got to be getting at least 1 win and a draw or 2 out of that for me. All right, do you think we'll win any of the first 3?
Right, I was going to ask you about that. Funny enough, I'm going to ask you about the West Ham game next Saturday. Now, I've got to be optimistic and say we're going to win, right? I want to go for a 2-1 victory, Michael. I don't want to be like dominating. I don't want to like be a negative. Michael's going for 2-2.
2-2. But okay, here's what I would say: we'll draw 2-2 with West Ham, but we'll win at Burnley the following week.
Really?
4 points in the first 2. I think West Ham obviously are established Prem side. It's obviously going to be very tricky. But I think what might help us in this game is the fact if that place isn't bouncing, I give up. Because
it should be.
And I think it will be, to be fair. At the start of the game, it definitely will be, I think. I think the fact that it's going to be... Look, the story's written, isn't it? So watch us lose 2-0. But the story is written. It's like Sunderland's first game back in the Prem after 8 years. First game back at home. I think it's going to be a raucous crowd in
full house. It'll be a full house.
Well, it's sold out, isn't it? Well, West Ham and Brentford are sold out. But these are the games we need to be picking up results in.
Of course.
If we want to have a chance of staying up, we need to be picking results up in games like this. And don't get me wrong, West Ham aren't crap by any means. It wasn't that long ago they won a European trophy in the Conference League. So
that's it.
Obviously, of course, they give their due respect, but at the same time, promoted club, as we found out often sometimes, when you face promoted clubs away from home early doors, it's not the easiest time to play them, so use that to our advantage at home, Right. No, my gut says we'll draw with West Ham, but we'll win at Burnley the following week.
I'm going the other way. I'm going to say we'll win the first game, hopefully we'll be outside of you, Michael, because remember...
Hopefully in just over 7 days' time, we're outside that stadium. We're absolutely buzzing with tits
doing
off.
the aftermath of the first
buzzing,
one.
I'm buzzing my man tits off, and we've ended up and we're beating West Ham on the opening day.
Oh, it'd be class, man. It'd be class.
But if you offered 4 points in the first 2 right now, you take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you were doing it the other way around. You were saying we'll draw the first game and win the second one. I'm saying we'll win the first one against West Ham 2-1. I think we'll slightly win it. And then the Burnley one, I think we'll draw. Well, imagine win the first 2 games.
I hope so.
And some of the Sunderland fans I think we're going to win the league.
Well, hopefully not if you swap it upside down. Because we've won the league a couple of times. If you flip the league upside down, we've got relegated twice. But no, I think, selfishly, I'm going to Burnley. I've got train tickets. Yeah, me and Pete and the other lads.
Nice one,
a couple of lads have got train tickets for it. We're just waiting for the match tickets to come out, which still haven't come out.
Is that on a Saturday afternoon or is it?
It's the following Saturday. It's 2 weeks today.
Right.
So it's the Saturday after West Ham.
Right.
But again, that's an example that games like that, and Burnley will say that about us. Don't get me wrong, but I think we've got a better. I think by the time we play Burnley, I'm hoping we have a better team than them. So I'd like to hope that we can go there, and especially with Regis Labrise as well. I'd like to hope.
Kyle Walker though, Michael.
Well, true, yeah, yeah, true. You never know. You absolutely never know.
I've never rated Kyle Walker. I mean, he's fast. He's fast, but it's
the pace will have gone now.
He's defensive side of the game.
Put it this way. Sorry, I've interrupted you there, but here's one. Right, so the way I'd look at it is Simon Adingra. Get on his side and basically torture him. That'd be, but and at least we're not going to play against James Trafford this time. So if we get a penalty and James Trafford's not in goal.
So if you've seen Simon Adingra on the left, right, where's this Chammerstein Talby going to play?
Well, if he's going to play, it'll be on the right.
He's going to play on the right, so he's going to put Lafia in the middle as the number 10. You'd imagine. And it's going to be Dikiti, Diarra.
All right, I'll tell you what then. Try and see if you can predict the team against West Ham.
But basically, it's Roefs in goal. It's
then a back 4 of Hume, Ballard, Reynaldo, and then Masuaka.
Masuaka's left
then
back,
then a midfield.
Xhaka.
Then we'll say a midfield 3 actually. Oh, actually no, don't go 4-2-3-1.
That's what I was doing.
Okay, 4-2-3-1 then. So Diarra,
Xhaka and Diarra.
Xhaka and Diarra in the pivot. Then it would be Lafay in the centre, Adingra, Talby out wide, and Guiu up front.
So that's our team for next Saturday. That's what me and Michael. That wraps it up. We've been going for an hour and a half. I think, Michael, it's been a long video.
Yeah.
And we're just excited to get started for next Saturday. Yeah. I'm at work next Saturday, great, but I'm only at work till 1:20 and I'm going to have to bring all my work here and fly to the Fitness 2000, get tuned and then straight over here.
Sunderland did tend to win home games when Sean wasn't there doing interviews, so we might ask, so if you just keep well away from the Stadium of Light.
I'll have to ask my good friend Paul if he'll do the camera work for us as well.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Paul's up for it, bless him.
Thanks for tuning in. It's been a great video. I've really enjoyed these with Michael.
Yeah. It's great, and thanks to everyone who likes to watch these. It's much appreciated.
And I can't wait to do the aftermath. I love doing the interviews. Obviously, next Saturday I love talking to the fans after the game, but the aftermath's always the one I sort of.
Let's hope we're still buzzing in a few weeks' time. Yeah, and the Premier League hasn't set in
yet.
However,
lads, keep the faith, and we'll see you next Saturday. Bye for now.